So 420, April 20th, or 4:20 p.m. or a.m. every single day, means something to a certain counterculture of individuals like to identify as hippies, stoners, potheads, reefers. That's all I can think of right now. But for some people, it means a lot more. Last Friday, 70% of DCU students voted in favor of legalizing marijuana, and an Irish Times survey that followed that up got a 90% yes vote. Pretty high for something that's still illegal. Am I right? I spoke with Dan Kirby, a PhD physics student here in DCU and the president of the Students for Sensible Drug Policy.
I think as far as all illegal drugs go, cannabis is the one that it's easiest to have the conversation about because it's the one that's most socially acceptable. And like you'll find a lot of people, like say older generation, who maybe don't quite understand the current drug culture. They will talk about drugs, and then they'll talk about cannabis. They'll say like, oh well, he only smoked the joints. It's not the same as this. There's a lot of people who will be on that fence. Now, obviously, there's other people as well who think that any drug, including cannabis, is very bad. But there is definitely a large proportion of society that would see cannabis as being a safer drug.
It's a lovely day here in DCU. And I'm thinking about the origins of 420. At the San Rafael High School in California, there was a group of teenagers known as the Waldos, here pictured as adults. They called themselves the Waldos because their favorite place to hang out was at the wall outside the school. They heard of an abandoned cannabis crop in the area, and so they set out on a mission to find it one day. The plan was to meet every day after school at 4:20 p.m. behind the wall that they always gathered, and pile into the back of one of their 66 Chevys and head around the county searching for this abandoned crop. Even though they never found the weed crop, they continued to use the term 420 to refer to the time and place that they would meet up, and most often than not, smoke weed. When the Haight-Ashbury district in San Francisco took a back seat to the counterculture movement, the Grateful Dead packed up and moved into the hills of Marin County, where they were neighbors with none other than the Waldos, and specifically Mark Gravich, whose father was their real estate agent. The Waldos continued to use the term 420-420ing as they befriended the Grateful Dead in their new home. This story, although it does seem extremely far-fetched, has been verified by multiple sources and proved that the reference to 420 cannot be found from before any of these dates. This is a page from Mark Gravich's 1974 yearbook. The question was asked to students, if you had the opportunity to say anything in front of your graduating class, what would you say? In the top right corner, you can see Craig Saunders' answer, one of the other members of the Waldos, and he said 420. There are also some interesting 420 references in popular culture. For example, every single clock in Quentin Tarantino's Pulp Fiction is set to the time of 4:20 p.m. And the California legislative bill in 2003 that legalized medical marijuana was known as SB 420 bill. Nobody in the state's office knows how it got that name, but I think we all know there's some lowly intern that was behind that. Am I right? I thought I'd head out around DCU to see what some of the students thought about this day. Do you smoke weed?
Yeah, sometimes.
Do you celebrate 420?
I do.
Are you going to do anything this year?
Oh, this year I don't know. Might leave it this year.
Do you smoke weed?
Yeah.
Do you support or celebrate 420?
Yeah.
Are you going to do anything this year?
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Get high all year.
Well, like I study health science, so I can see it as a therapeutic method, especially for cancer patients and other kind of chronic illnesses.
That's all for now, guys. Thanks for joining me on this brief exploration on the meaning of 420.